alien drill sergeants couldn't handle it. Deathworlder Cadet finishes a week-long course in just an afternoon. 1. Arrival. The training grounds of Fort Halroon were legendary. Built on the desert moon of Court Aral, its jagged canyons and scorching heat broke recruits from a dozen elder races. Drill sergeants here boasted that no cadet survived their course without bleeding, breaking, or begging for mercy. When the humans first requested entry, the elder races laughed. Humanity was new to the stars, loud and raw. Their homeworld was a gravity well, a toxic stew, a furnace of predators. The galaxy called them deathworlders in hushed tones, but most believed the word exaggerated. That was before Cadet Juno Vea arrived. She stepped from the shuttle in a plain grey uniform, helmet tucked under her arm. Her stride was casual, but her eyes were bright and alert, scanning the jagged cliffs and serrated ridgelines with the ease of someone who had hiked harsher places. The drill sergeants, a mix of scaled dren, six-limbed grath, and crystalline Kurill, clicked mandibles in anticipation. They thought she was already prey. 2. The challenge. Human, barked Drillmaster Zarth, his claws tapping the scorched soil. You think you can endure our course? It takes a week of torment to complete. If you last a day, we will grant you respect. Juno shrugged. A week. Sounds like a long hike. Laughter rippled among the alien recruits. The Dren sergeant snarled, offended. Then begin, Zarth roared. The course stretched 20 kilometers through jagged canyons. Obstacles rose like teeth, walls slick with slime, pits filled with toxin-resistant serpents, tunnels barely wide enough for a Gratha's torso. The final stretch required a climb up the sunspine, a near-vertical ridge of volcanic rock under triple suns. No one had ever finished in less than 5 days. 3. The first steps. Juno jogged into the canyon, her breath steady. The sand was scorching, but she'd run marathons across desert basins back on Earth. Her boots dug in with confidence. At the first pit, Dren recruits hesitated. Venomous serpents writhed below, fangs dripping. Juno leapt without pause, tucking midair, landing on the far side with a roll. She waved back at the others. You guys coming? The sergeants blinked. To them, serpents were nightmares. To a human, they looked suspiciously like snakes, and Juno had grown up with rattlers in her desert hometown. She pressed on. 4. Heat and stone. By midday, the canyon radiated enough heat to fry exposed skin. Dren recruits collapsed, tongues swollen. The crystalline Kurill recruits fractured under thermal stress. But Juno only tied her jacket around her head. Earth deserts had taught her worse. She rationed her canteen with measured sips, laughing when the sergeants shrieked at her audacity. At the slick wall, where most spent hours scrabbling, she climbed in minutes, fingers finding grips invisible to alien eyes. Free climbing, she muttered. Thanks, Dad. At the tunnels, where others panicked at the crushing dark, she wriggled through, humming an old Earth song to keep pace. She'd once explored cave systems for fun. Every obstacle the aliens thought insurmountable was a memory to her. 5. Afternoon ascent. By late afternoon, Juno reached the base of the sunspine. Triple suns glared overhead, their heat shimmering off obsidian rock. The climb was supposed to break recruits completely. The sergeants gathered at observation posts, sneering. She'll fall. The sunspine always claims the arrogant. But Juno smiled up at the ridge. Looks like a weekend climb in Joshua Tree. She began to ascend. Her fingers locked onto razor cracks, her boots dug into slivers of stone. Sweat slicked her skin, but her muscles moved with rhythm. Higher and higher she climbed, each pull sure, each breath steady. Hours passed. By sunset, she stood atop the ridge, raising her helmet high. The entire course, completed in less than one afternoon. 6. The fallout. Silence fell across the training grounds. The sergeants gaped, mandibles slack. Even the crystalline Kuril dimmed in disbelief. Zati stormed forward, claws digging into rock. Impossible. This is a week-long course. No species can. Weak. Juno interrupted, dropping lightly to the ground. Back home, survival training lasted 3 days. With less water. Her words cut deeper than blades. The alien recruits stared at her, horror and awe mixing. She wasn't just another cadet. She was proof that the whispered rumors were true. Humans weren't exaggerating when they said their planet was a death world. Their soldiers weren't merely strong, they were conditioned by evolution itself to treat other species' nightmares as exercise. 7. The broken sergeants. That night, the drill sergeants gathered in private. Their voices trembled. She finished in hours. Hours. She leapt the serpent pit like it was nothing. She smiled on the sun's spine. The crystalline Kuril clicked. We trained to break warriors. Yet the human cadet broke us. The Grath sergeant snarled, though his voice cracked. What are they, these deathworlders? How do they laugh where others scream? No answer came. Only silence, and the image of a human cadet grinning atop the ridge, helmet raised like a trophy. 8. The cadet's perspective. When her fellow human cadets asked how she'd done it, Juno only shrugged. Wasn't that bad? Reminds me of home. But inside, she remembered the deserts where water meant life, the snakes that taught respect for danger, the cliffs that demanded strength or offered death. Earth had trained her before any academy could. And now, among the stars, she realized something else. The elder races had built obstacles from their greatest fears. But to a human, those fears were memories, sports, sometimes even pets. It wasn't arrogance. It was perspective. 9. The legend spreads. By the next week, the story had traveled across fleets. The human cadet finished the week-long course in one afternoon. Some dismissed it as rumor. Others swore it was truth. Either way, the legend grew. And in the barracks of Fort Halroon, alien recruits whispered at night, if a human cadet could break our hardest course, what will a human soldier do in war? 10. Final reflection. Juno stood at the edge of the desert, watching the suns sink into molten skies. She wasn't thinking about legends or fear. She was thinking of home, of sand crunching underfoot, of climbing rocks under blue skies instead of orange. The galaxy had expected humans to falter. Instead, they discovered a truth they weren't ready to face. The galaxy's worst hells were playgrounds to those forged on a death world. And no drill sergeant, no matter how cruel, could handle that.